Stephanie Bailey, and I work as a social worker at Rush, and I am also a SHIP counselor, which is the Senior Health Insurance Program. I'll tell you a little more about that as we go along. And today I'd like to talk to you about scams, fraud, and abuse and how to avoid these things. First, let's talk about scams. These are attempts to get money or other information from you that leads to your personal information becoming compromised. In many cases, we've heard of people losing hundreds or even thousands of dollars from this. And older adults can be particularly vulnerable based on sometimes using older phones or things that are not password protected or phones that don't have caller ID. One of the most famous ones we hear of is the Grandparent Scam, where an older adult will receive a call from a person claiming to be their granddaughter or grandson, and even frequently giving that person's name and saying that they're in some kind of desperate situation. They need money for a ride home or to get on the bus or train or to get them out of jail. It's some kind of story that usually really tugs at your heartstrings. And people will often send money or give a credit card number. So what can you do if this happens? Please first do not give your credit card information to the caller. You can let them know that you don't have that, or you can't share it, or even that you can't find it. Hang up the phone and call another family member and try to find out if this is actually happening. And unfortunately, we usually find out 9 times out of 10 that situation is not happening at all. So again, call the family member, do not give out your credit card information, and trust your gut, especially if you think this is not the kind of situation this person would get themselves into or it doesn't sound like them. Just trust your gut. So in addition to scams, we also want to talk about fraud. And fraud, for today, the kind of fraud we're talking about is where an entity fraudulently bills Medicare or you for services that you never received. So one example is someone has your Medicare number, they have gotten a hold of that somehow, and they bill Medicare for a service or product you never received, such as a wheelchair. What can happen, even if you never get that bill, is Medicare has been billed, and so maybe a year or 2 years later, you might need a wheelchair then and find out that Medicare will not pay because they've already paid 2 years prior, and they think that you already have a wheelchair. So how can you avoid this type of fraud? First of all, do not share your Medicare number with anyone who calls. Medicare will never call you and ask for that information. Second, only carry your Medicare card with you when you truly need it, such as for a doctor's appointment. And third, call the experts if you're ever in doubt. And in Illinois, we have a fantastic resource called the Illinois Senior Medicare Patrol. We're going to have the number there for you on your screen. And also I'm going to give it to you here. Again, this is the Senior Medicare Patrol, and they are the experts in helping you to avoid and report this kind of fraud. That number is 1-800-699-9043, and it's also on your screen. And finally, let's talk about financial abuse. So financial abuse is the misappropriation of your money by thieves who can be total strangers to you or someone you know very well, such as friends or family members. This type of crime, unfortunately, goes underreported or unreported because people can be very embarrassed or ashamed about this occurring. And risk factors that may make you, things that make you more likely, more vulnerable to this type of crime are social isolation and cognitive impairment. So what can you do to avoid this? First, talk to a trusted friend or family member and let them know truly what's going on with your financial situation. Secondly, really track your expenses and very carefully protect things such as your Social Security number, Social Security award statements, credit card numbers, and bank statements. Finally, have all your financial documents in order. This includes setting up a will ahead of time and setting up a trusted person to make ethical healthcare and financial decisions for you. Finally, I want to talk briefly about your choices with Medicare. We know it can be really overwhelming, especially when you're new to Medicare or during the annual fall open enrollment that occurs every year. Many older adults, and again, those under 65 who may qualify for Medicare based on certain health conditions, are really overwhelmed with a lot of paper, mail, and calls about their options with Medicare. And many times these companies very much want to sell you their plan or their product. And obviously they have a financial interest in selling you their plan. We really want to suggest that you talk to a SHIP counselor and not a salesperson from one of these companies. It's not scams or fraud or abuse, but they can be very aggressive with their sales tactics. So I want to encourage you to talk with a SHIP counselor. Again, that is the Senior Health Insurance Program. In Illinois, you find a SHIP counselor near you by calling 1-800-252-8966 and requesting a SHIP counselor near you. And again, that information will be placed there on your screen for you. We have no interest in selling you a particular plan. We're not selling anything, and our only interest is helping you save money. So again, it's for anyone on Medicare or who may be new to Medicare or has questions about their Medicare options. So I hope this information has been helpful to you. And again, please avoid fraud, scams, and abuse. Thank you and have a wonderful day.